My name is Marco Roque. I'm the president and CEO of Cassiar Gold. Cassiar Gold is a Canadian gold explorer focused on our flagship project, the Cassiar Gold project in Western Canada, in northern British Columbia. One of the most exciting exploration stories, in my opinion, in North America. So we're led by a team of executives that has a track record of discovering, building, operating mines across BC, across Canada, across the world. We have now increased our resource, and I'll mention that quite shortly. But more importantly, we are in a tier 1 jurisdiction. We have mining permits. We have 5 best producing mines with a 590 square kilometer land package, great access infrastructure, great topography. We're quite undervalued as it is. We had just until recently 1.4 million ounces inferred at over a gram per ton. Now we have 1.9 million ounces inferred with an additional 410,000 ounces indicated, with the indicated category at just over 1.4 grams per ton. So very exciting project.
Marco, look, good to see you, and good news indeed. And so how do you interpret this increase on the mineral resource estimate up to 1.93 million ounces inferred? What's it do for your development strategy?
Yeah, so our goal really is to eventually get this to 5 million ounces. Some people think it's a big number. The geology and the drilling is telling us that we're very quickly getting there. Our objective is when we get to 5 million ounces, or even before potentially, either put this into production, or more likely probably getting taken out by one of the big producers. We're really barely scratching the surface here. We've drilled less than 0.3% of our land package, and if you look at the resource that we currently have, both the 1.4 million ounces inferred plus the 410 ounces additional indicated ounces, 48% of those are within 50 meters from surface. So a lot of room to grow laterally. We haven't closed off any areas. It's open in most directions laterally, but also open at depth. So pretty exciting.
And just some of this, what are the kind of key differences between the 2022 and 2025 resource estimates in terms of that geological confidence and maybe even that economic potential?
No, that's a great question. So obviously, the key difference is really the size. We expanded significantly the size of the inferred resource, and we added 410,000 ounces on the indicated category, which have a higher confidence status and better confidence for economic extraction. So that's a function both of better geological models and interpretation, but also higher drill density in some areas. It wasn't really by design that we've tried to increase the confidence in some areas. Our goal is to keep expanding the footprint of the inferred resource, just given that we only drilled a 0.3% footprint of our entire land package. But it's great to see that, and it obviously increases the confidence on the entire deposit, especially on the portions that are on a higher indicated category, as we suspected. So that just brings a lot more confidence to what we have and what we're building, and eventually what we really wanted to find, which is at least 5 million ounces.
But obviously, given the shallow nature of this, you say you're finding this within kind of like from 50 meters from surface, right? What about the kind of continuity and the reliability of that mineralization? Are the drill team starting to get more confidence from the ability to put a drill in and get to mineralization?
Absolutely. That was really one of the key. I mean, other than the increase in ounces, which is really what everyone wants to see, more and more ounces, which we're delivering, we're really better establishing that continuity. We had on the previous resource, some gaps in drilling. We were relatively confident about that continuity, but one thing is having that geological interpretation and confidence. The other thing is demonstrating that through the drill bits, which we've done very successfully as well. We have much more confidence in our geological models in that continuity. and that allows us to bring a significant portion to the indicated status, while growing the inferred category as well. And it's also interesting that this only includes the Taurus deposit area, but what we see both at the Taurus deposit as well as the outlying targets is a lot of similarities to a lot of the other targets, and we can apply a lot of these learnings into the other targets, which is really where the blue sky is. I mean, in the immediate area to Taurus, everything is open, and now we have several pits, and we believe they will eventually connect. But it's really good to grow that geological know-how and confidence, because we can clearly see the similarities to several targets in our 590 square kilometer land package.
Okay, and what's the plan here? Do you keep I know you want to get to 5 million ounces, but looking at the market, different companies are coming at it in different ways, right? There are groups that are saying that we'll stick to our knitting, we'll keep drilling, build confidence, build out the scale of the opportunity. And there are others saying, look, maybe a market like this, moving to a kind of production type phase with starter pits or satellite pits, to get some revenue flowing is sensible. And I know boards like yourselves will be toying and wrestling with that concept. Where have you got to in your thinking?
Yeah, I mean, this is again one of the really unique aspects of our company. Most exploration projects don't have access. Most exploration projects don't have infrastructure, and most exploration projects do not have full unit permitted mill and mining permits. We have all of the above, and that really puts us in a unique position. So we definitely have that possibility. It's so close to surface, both for the bulk tonnage, given it's so it's really so close to surface. So we don't have economic studies, but if you look at comparables, you can easily imagine just the low capex that's required for something like this. And more excitingly, we haven't put out a resource as well in the south, where we have the high grade veins, and really where most of the historical production in the district came. And for that, we have a specifically well designed mill for that type of material. The grades there are much higher. They're between 10 and 20 grams. We have intercepts, of up to 270 grams per ton as well. On these high-grade veins. There are discrete veins. It's a different geology. It's not disseminated open pitable. They're discrete, on average 3 meters wide. In all the 4 past producing mines, we have extended those vein systems, and we also have, part of the 25 kilometers of underground workings will take us straight from surface into the end mine sections of the high-grade veins, which we've extended. In some cases, like the main vein system, which is roughly 10 kilometers south of the Taurus deposit, the underground working gets up to 50 meters away from the vein. So there's definitely that possibility for relatively near-term development opportunity. That could get us quicker to cash flow. I mean, you can see, with the current gold price, miners are just having massive margins. And we are looking at that opportunity. I would love to be in production. I would love to be in cash flow as soon as possible, but you got to take one step at a time. I was just commenting that, safety first, 3 points of contact at all times, as you progress that, because, mine development is also, it doesn't go well 100% of the time. So you got to make sure you have a solid plan, you have a solid foundation, you have enough ounces to justify pushing that button, because once you start mine development and go for production, you press the go button, and it's hard to turn the horse around. So you got to make sure that the path is really ahead of you. And the drilling we've done at the south, for example, gives us some confidence. We need to continue to extend those, so we can have a solid plan, and we have a clear path that is relatively risk-free, and not just kind of going cowboy style, because it's if we have to choose between trying to go fast to try to be heroes and start cash flowing as soon as possible, and risk company versus just, maybe taking, a year or two more to safely get there without, risking losing your shirts. We tend to be more conservative, especially when you look at the category of people that we have on our boards. We have a board executive team that has discovered several mines, put several mines in production, developed several mines, sold several mines. So we are very, very aware of that potential, but give us some time, we will get there.
Okay, but the reason I ask is the type of drilling that you're going to do going forward will, I guess, be indicative of what putting yourself in a difficult position just to rush forward into production, or being a bit more cautious and a bit more conservative, because it's the kind of thing that you need to make a decision on now to find the type of drilling that you're going to be doing going forward, because it will feed into some kind of mine plan, some kind of process that and I'm not sure which way you will go. So I'll stick with the conservative route, which is if we look at the sort of the data that you gather through this this exercise that you put together this MRE, in terms of that kind of structural data play, have you kind of improved your sort of understanding and definition of the ore zones that you will be drilling into in the near future?
Well, the really beautiful thing about this project is we don't have any shortage of targets. We really haven't closed off any area. And we have a lot of room to grow, toward continue to step out at Torres and continue to grow there. We've drilled last couple of years a really compelling target called New Coast, which is 2.5 kilometers south of Torres. All the drill holes hit there. We have similar widths and grades as we see at Torres, similar style of veining, alteration, and mineralization, similar grades. So we believe that actually New Coast could have a similar potential to Torres. And again, that's within that 15-kilometer trend where we have that includes the 5 fast producing mines, but multiple other gold showings, starting at surface. We have Snow Creek, 3 kilometers to the east of Torres. We have Our Rock, which is 1.5, 2 kilometers to the east southeast of Torres. We don't have any shortage of targets. We like all of them. The bulk tonnage, it works. We have good grades. The indicated category is now at 1.43 grams per ton. Exactly 1.43 grams per ton for 110,000 ounces. Starting basically from surface. And we also have, and all of the vein systems are open as well. So we have a lot to choose from. So I guess we'll see, where we'll be heading, where we'll be chasing. I'm very happy with the bulk tonnage, but we do have that possibility that with a high grade that we can continue to.
Yeah, you've got a big land package, and you kind of got that typical, orogenic, bulk tonnage versus high grade veins in there. So it's maybe just to kind of drill down a little bit on, and just help us understand how you understand grade predictability. I mean, if we look at structures like Taurus West Fault, how does things like that affect your ability to kind of predict grade and what you're seeing?
Well, orogenic gold systems, as you mentioned, are actually tend to be they're the largest share of global gold production and deposits. They tend to be big deposits, long lived. Relatively homogeneous, and you definitely see that on the bulk tonnage side of things. And the structural controls are also very important, and we do have a super well qualified technical team that can help us really understand all of these systems, and so far it's been delivering well on the high grade underground veins, which is also very typical from these orogenic gold systems. They're actually sub-horizontal in our case, because our system is kind of folded 90 degrees to your typical orogenic that you see, for example, in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, or in West Africa, or in the Guinean Shield in South America. Our veins in particular are 3 meters wide, but these veins tend to be a bit more negative. So you have some intercepts that are 2 grams or 3 grams per ton, and we have some intercepts that can go 30, 40, 50, up to, we've seen in our own drilling, 270 grams per ton. So there is a little bit more variability.
Right.
And that's a little bit of the challenge as well on the high-grade veins. There's a variability. The structure as well. These veins tend to pinch and swell. So I mentioned 3 meters wide on average, but they can go to half a meter, or you sometimes even disappear. You have some faulting as well. But it's, they're some beautiful targets. And actually, just last month, we actually put out our very comprehensive geophysical results. We've completed 70 square kilometers of geophysics. And both on the bulk tonnage, you highlighted, massive areas of geophysical anomalies with hot areas, for follow-up that give us yet more layers of confidence in addition to what we see at surface in the drilling. Also in the south, we have several interpret lineaments, which we believe some of those are potentially the high grade underground veins. Some of them could be potential blind discovery, or as we also see in extensions of the veins on those lineaments, which could be potential extensions of the vein system that we have in the south as well. So we have really a wealth of information,
Right.
and we really improved our geological understanding of the system, and we can apply that in multiple parts of our projects. It's kind of a good problem to have, in the sense that a lot of targets, a lot of data to support these targets, and we now have basically a very big menu to choose from.
Okay, and you're leaning towards bulk tonnage, but so what proportion or what percentage of the deposit is that kind of disseminated versus vein controlled mineralization? And I guess, how does it affect your future mining assumptions?
Yeah, so the majority, the majority of the mineralization, well, the entirety of resources on the bulk tonnage, disseminated. So we have several vein systems, but they are associated with the disseminated gold, because disseminated pyrite associated gold is on it basically envelopes the quartz veining. In the north on the bulk tonnage, they're a lot thinner. They're in a centimeter scale, these veins, but they occur in swarms and they create large corridors of mineralized areas. In the south, they're completely, on the underground areas, they're completely discrete. And that's why we also use different geophysical methods to identify the potential structures in this area. So, but the majority is on the bulk tonnage, and we do feel, and this is, in the past 5 years, we've allocated roughly 75% into the bulk tonnage.
Right. Okay.
And 25% of the drilling into the high grade. And we do feel that every meter we drill on the bulk tonnage adds more ounces.
Okay.
Now, the grade is sexier underground. We're 10 to 30 grams is obviously sexier than 1 or 1.5 gram per ton. But that's a 1 or 1.5 gram per ton. It's a really good grade to have at surface. So there's no complaints there. The bulk tonnage, it's a bigger development, because we would need a bigger mill for the bulk tonnage. But we have all the infrastructure there. We have power, water access, paved roads, balance facilities, great topography, no glaciers coming through. So it's a very exciting, great foundation to build upon. And I want to continue to chase both, but on a high grade specifically, which is what everyone wants to see executed as soon as possible, because that's where there's a shorter timeline for production. Just because we have that mill there, it's an area that there's a little bit more risk in the drilling, just because of the nature. We have a 3 meter on average horizon when you're targeting a vein. It's 100 or a couple of 100 meters below surface. So you're always going to have a little bit more failure. So the number of ounces you are expected to add per meter drilled will be a little bit lower, but it's a little bit more sexy. So it's for me, I will continue to chase both, and eventually at the south, we will be able to define a platform or a resource inventory, I believe, that could get us comfortable to to speed track economic studies and the mine development, but we're just not there yet. The objective, I would say, in the south to be comfortable would be to say define 300, at least 300,000, ideally 500,000 ounces, ideally something close to 20 grams per ton, which is in the grade that some of our drilling or most of our drilling in the south has indicated to be the potential there. So the potential is there. We need a little bit more work. We don't want to be putting the cart ahead of the horse, but we definitely see that path. We definitely see that potential. We just don't want to take a step too big too fast, because we want to make sure that the company is always taking the right step at a time, and not risking the company just for the anxiety of getting to production sooner than later.
Okay, I hear you. Look, you put on these new answers relatively quickly and relatively inexpensively. So what have you learned along the way in terms of through either the kind of geological, hydrogeological, or geochemical work that you've done, or things like even drill orientation? What are you using to be efficient or more efficient than you perhaps were in the earlier days?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, like every piece of work we do improves our geological knowledge and understanding. On that specific area, of course, because we understand the structures there, you understand the veining orientation. What are the main, on the current deposit, we have kind of three main structures that control mineralization, for example. So every drill hole is an opportunity to learn more. And what's interesting is there's a compounding effect really on the drilling, just because the nature of the deposit we have, which is orogenic. So there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of periodicity. So and you can apply the learnings from one zone to the other, and we see regularly those patterns reoccurring again and again and again. So that really helped us, narrow down the drilling, because we understand it better and better with every drill hole, the structural controls. With the geophysical methods as well, it gives us highlights. What are the dominant styles, potential styles of mineralization in these areas? The sampling as well. We've sent the last 2 seasons, boots on the ground to collect grab samples, from outcrop that's sticking out of the ground every once in a while, and that's giving us a better geological, topographical, geophysical map and different layers of evidence that it's not a linear function; it's a little bit more exponential, because a lot of the learnings from different areas can be applied, and that has a cumulative effect on the entire geological knowledge of the property, and really allow us to accelerate further and further as we kind of step out, because we've although we have a really good knowledge, again, we only drilled 0.3% of our land package. So we're just literally scratching the project, and even scratching the surface, both on the XY basis, but also on a vertical basis, because the deepest point of our deposit right now, for example, it's 300 meters. It's really nothing.
But I mean, see, therein lies the challenge or the opportunity, I guess, because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of more potential drilling, but it'll take time at the kind of current pace. So to move to 5 million ounces, I mean, I could do some simple math and work out what you spent to go from 1.4 to 1.93. It gives me a sense of the pace at which this could move. Or are you thinking about it differently? Do you need a partner to kind of come in here now? You've started kind of firming up on your understanding of the geology, understanding of how to target the drill bit a bit more efficiently. What are you thinking?
I mean, like the current resource right now is 65,000 meters of drilling contained in it. We can do like some of those assumptions, and that's basically yielded, a lot of ounces. If you look, for example, at the 0.3 cutoff grade, that's, 2.15 million ounces inferred plus 430,000 ounces indicated. So, one could argue that, eventually to get to 5 million ounces, another 65,000 meters of drilling could be enough, if the grades, widths, and in our hit ratio remains high. So it doesn't look like that much. We're drilling, drilling plus assays, slightly just over $200 Canadian per meter. So it could be, this could be potentially done in a couple of seasons. I mean, if we have a really big program, it could be, even faster. So we have a lot of targets to go for. But we also have to look that the junior gold mining space is still on a cusp of igniting. Definitely, our stock is quite undervalued as well. So we're looking forward to delivering value on a stage basis, and also being very mindful of dilution. In terms of do we need a partner? We don't necessarily need a partner. I mean, it could be helpful. We have very good technical, a very good world-class really technical group. I wouldn't mind having more is always better. You have access to capital, but more is always better as well. So we can speed track these things, but we really don't need it. We can we're good as we are, but we're open to talking to anyone. I think it's still early days. The M&A cycle hasn't really kickstarted. And sometimes having one of the big producers on a share registry, becoming a strategic investor, gives a lot of confidence to people. The downside is that you can actually also limit your ultimate upside, because once you have a toehold, like kind of you're kind of beholden in a way. So we're open. You have several conversations going as well, so we're open to talking to anyone. We want to build this and create value for our shareholders. That's really the key. This is not a science experiment. This is with the goal of creating value, and the discrepancy between the producers, kind of going back to your comment, let's get as quickly to production as possible. Discrepancy between the producers and the juniors is never been so big. So getting there can really accelerate the valuation upside for our shareholders, which is ultimately what we want to create here as well.
What are the plans for the rest of the year, or what's the plan for the next sort of drill campaign, and how's that funded?
So we have cash in the bank right now. We have just under 5 million. We're good. We'll selectively attract capital as we come along. I think this could be a chance for a really significant re-rating opportunity, given the ounces that we have, and look at the ounces. Our market cap or enterprise value per ounces is just incredibly attractive. As of the plans, as we speak, the team is opening camp right now. We'll start drilling. The plan is to start drilling next Monday. So it's just a few days away. We have a lot of targets to go for, and we want to keep on continue on expanding as soon as possible this project's land package, this mineralization. And my guess is we'll probably somewhere around August we can start releasing results of that. We're doing a lot of other activities in parallel as well. We're considering studies as well at the moment. We haven't basically pulled a pin on that yet, but with the size of this resource, with this deposit that we have, with the current gold prices, with all the good things that we have for us, including all the infrastructure and access, one doesn't need to imagine too much to see how compelling the economics could be here. So that's something we're also looking, because sometimes, especially now that you're starting to see a lot of generalists coming into the mining sector, just attracted by the massive margins that producers have. Sometimes exploration companies can be a little bit technical and hard to understand, in the PEA or economic studies, as well as the other studies to the risk of project could really help investors really understand that the not only the geological potential, but really the economic potential of what we have here.
Okay. Well, look, drilling starting. We'll see how you do. Stay in touch with us. Let us know how you go. Certainly when some of those assays start coming back, because it's really about for us. It's the type of answers that you're going after in terms of how efficient you are in terms of adding those answers to a future potential resource. And who that's going to be attractive to in terms of where you drill those answers as well. Because they say maybe someone else has a different view and makes you an attractive offer about maybe partnering up with you to actually get that stuff out of the ground sooner. Who knows? Who knows? Nice options to have if they happen. Marco, good to see you, sir, and good announcement. Well done.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.